toy fanatics to Chizzo Reviews. Today we're going to be looking at the Ground Brothers Megazord. And before we get started, I would like to apologize. This is another new studio. My school kicked me out of my old one. Hopefully things will calm down and I'll be able to give you a better quality review. But for now, let's look at what we got here. It's the Ground Brothers Zord vehicle from Power Rangers Megaforce. And this is really rather an oddball of a toy, coming in one of a set of three. Considering that I really don't know where to start with this one. It is a toy worth picking up. I will assure you that. But right now, let's take a look at the vehicle first, and then I think we'll get to the Zords. Okay? So let's take this guy off here. A lovely little stag beetle. Then my favorite, the Tyrannosaurus. But I love Tyrannosauruses, so that's really my opinion. And then the Rhino Zord. Or at least I think it's a rhino. Now, the vehicle itself is cast in gray plastic with some gold paint to break it up. The molding in and of itself is really uneventful, mostly because it's meant to attach to the Megazord in some way, which unfortunately I don't have. There are jets back here, molded in, well, what looks like columns of some sort. And this little crest here comes out, and it's cast in a gold rubbery plastic. I thought that was rather unusual. Pop that back into place right there. It does have the 3 Zord ports, and they're pretty standard. The spring clips, which will hold the Zord heads into place. And they do snap off, so you know you can be a little creative with them. You can snap back into place like that, or if you snap them back in like this, dang it. If you snap them back in like this, come back here, Black Ranger, you can have sort of like a fantasy hover vehicle. You know, with a little imagination, this toy can go a long way. But that's like half the battle here. So we'll take him. We'll look at the figure here. It's it's the Black Ranger, obviously, cast in. I can't tell if that's silver gray or black plastic. It looks like it's cast in silver gray. Anywho, it's got 3 points of articulation. Let me just get this focused. Well, you know, let's look at the molding. We've got the buckle and the arms here. Looking at the helmet, it does have some gold paint around the visor to sort of accentuate the visor itself and separate it from the rest of the helmet. Kind of lazily, but you know, kids want to play with the Zords, not the figure. It has some nice gold paint right over the chest with the Earth symbol, you know, as a crest. It doesn't have much articulation except for like 3 points. His head, his left and right arms. That's about it. But you know, it doesn't really matter because he's really only ever gonna sit in his vehicle. So I guess it doesn't matter. Setting this aside, I guess we'll look at the Zords next. Now, because I'm a Gurren Lagann fan, we're going to look at the one with the drill nose first, and the Rhino Zord, cast in plain yellow plastic. It's not really much to write home about. However, it does have these plastic molded treads in here, but don't worry, it will move. It's got wheels in the bottom. And it actually rolls pretty nice, even on this paper surface, which isn't really very friction friendly. Wants to turn though. I guess I'll have to do something about that. It does have that green eye painted in there, which they didn't have to do. I mean, they didn't paint anything else, but they decided to paint that in. I suppose it's an attempt to not be lazy. And the drill is, cast in rubbery gray plastic. Moving on to my favorite, the Tyrannosaurus. Unlike the Japanese version, which is cast in like a bronzish plastic for the head, this is cast in bright red plastic. It does have the green eye like the other ones, and it does have some technological molding to break up the boring design. The teeth really stand on top of each other well. And there's something wrong with mine, I think. It doesn't want to clip into a Zord port the way others will. I think there's something I need to fix with it. Hopefully someone down in the comments will let me know. But, yeah, he does have that one little wheel under his jaw. And then these 2 big wheels. And these actually help him roll a whole lot better than the Rhino. um, surprisingly well. It's because of those plastic treads that they molded in. Now, if we open his jaw, you'll find a little grappling hook molded in right there. Um, and it's a friction hinge, so there's no ratcheting, so you got to be careful with this one. Um, Now, I love opening this jaw. First of all, I'm voicing this one over. I apologize because something went wrong with my mic. Now, I don't even know why I'm spinning the wheels at this point. But they do turn nice. I will say that right here. Otherwise, it wouldn't roll well. Um, and it is cast in black plastic, unlike the head. Um, these I guess spines on his back, they do give sort of a linear feel. Moving on, we'll go to the eldest brother, I guess you could call him, the Stag Zord. Now, this one is cast in all black plastic with very few paint apps to speak of. He does have a ratcheted mandible here. And you better, I don't get why they would sell this to kids, because, my finger! But, yeah, it's actually really loose, so there's enough room for kids to play with it safely. They put the green eyes right there on the hinge to act as sort of a stopper, so it only opens so far. And as far as the other molding details, I can't really describe it other than heavy-duty sci-fi-ish. He is the Zord head, I should say. Looking something of a Viking here. I don't have the Megazord. I wish I did because I really make this review, but I've got something else I'll show you later. He's got some nice gold paint apps right here on what I can only assume to be his hat, with a nice molding of the Earth symbol, the Earth Rolandic crest, if you want to go Sager. Let's see, what else is there to speak of? The face has some really nice molding. It's with a beautiful Bondi silver with blue eyes. But overall the face is very simple. It's got some texture in there, I guess, to break it up, but it really doesn't help that much. It looks boring. I don't know how else to say that. Love these ratchet joints, by the way. I guess there's really not much more to say about this guy. He kinda clicks in and out. Now we're gonna test these out on my gun. My Gosei blaster here. And first things first, we'll take off the dragon header. I left him on there just so I wouldn't lose him. First I guess what we'll do is we'll switch it on. I can't show you the sound effects. They don't really matter at this point because it can't tell which header's on there. It's all the same to this gun. Now first we'll put on the Rhino header, and it looks something of a demented dentist's tool here. I don't know, it kind of frightens me at this point, because I can't tell if I'm supposed to use it as a power tool or use it as a blaster. And it doesn't really hold that well on this port, just because of the weird shape. Moving on, we're gonna go to the Stag header, and open this up. It looks like another dentist's tool, like a pair of tooth pliers. It's like they're trying to send in some kind of subliminal message. It frightens me. I guess it'll just clamp on and yank them out. Taking this one off, we're going to move on to my favorite at this point. The Tyranno header. Now this feels right. This feels good. It's like this was meant to happen. It holds about the same as the other two Zords on it this time around, so maybe it's just something wrong with the vehicle I'm using. I don't know. I'm going to turn that off just because it doesn't matter. I can never find the speakers on this thing. Anyway, he does add some sort of like an extended barrel to the blaster, giving it more of a hefty feel. Popping him. Let's put these back on the Zord vehicle. Yes, I will get back. You can swap the headers around. Let me show you right here. So that they will basically fit anything with a Zord port, and they will look pretty good. Which really increases the play value of any of the toys you buy. So, and yes, you can swap the headers around so they can go on any position on the vehicle, like I said before. I'm going to put the Tyranno in the front just because he's my favorite. Now, overall, I would say that I got this for about 30 bucks at Walmart, and I would say it's worth the price you pay, especially if you have some of the other toys to begin with, just because its play value increases the more from that particular toy line you buy. This I would recommend the gun, the blaster, for the most part, if you can't afford the Megazord, just because it has that kind of a sci-fi effect, so to speak. If I do get the Megazord, I will try to get something like that in here.
Wait, don't go! I almost forgot something. The Zord brothers, the Ground brothers, actually come with... I'm going to turn this light off just because it makes it hard to look at them. 2 cards. And yes, they do make a sound in the morpher. So why don't we get that out, and we'll have a look at it. Let me just make sure I got it on the right, yep. Click that in. I want to say Gaborin Show, but that's the wrong series. So yeah, the generic Zord summoning noise. Like I warned you, most of the Mega Force cards are gonna have that generic noise. And here's the Megazord one. Gee, I wonder what's gonna be in there. What's gonna be on this card? This one is... I can't read the serial number, and I don't know if you can see it in here. Huh. Oh well. We'll look up the serial number another time, and I'll put it right up here. Alright, so yeah, like I said, the Megaforce cards, they all have the generic sound effects because Bandai of America likes to be a cheapskate. Not too happy about that. Now you see why I prefer imports. Anywho, that's all I had to say. You can go back to your ending credits now.